Picture a blazing August morning in 1704, near the Bavarian village of Blenheim. The Danube's mist rises, but peace is an illusion. Over 100,000 soldiers face off. On one side, the mighty, confident French and Bavarians. On the other, a coalition of British, Dutch and Germans led by John Churchill, the Duke of Marlborough. This isn't just a battle for land, it's for the future of Europe. King Louis XIV of France seeks to unite France and Spain, threatening to dominate the continent. The rest of Europe stands terrified. If France wins, the balance of power is lost. The men here fight for their nations, their faith and their families. What unfolds is a miracle. The French, long thought invincible, are crushed. The myth of French supremacy is shattered in a single, brutal day. Blenheim sends shockwaves across Europe, changing the War of the Spanish Succession. It's a story of risk, drama, and a general who gambled everything. Marlborough marched his army across Europe, deceiving both enemies and allies. He attacked a fortified position many thought untouchable. But Marlborough saw what others missed. He understood his enemy and his men. On this sun-drenched field, his vision would be tested. The fate of Europe would be decided here. This is the story of Blenheim, the day Europe's destiny changed forever. To understand Blenheim's importance, we must go back to 1700. The childless death of Spain's king, Charles II, left a vast empire up for grabs. Two claimants emerged, Philip of Anjou, grandson of France's Louis XIV, and Austria's Archduke Charles. If Philip took the throne, France and Spain would unite, terrifying Britain, the Dutch, and the Holy Roman Empire. They formed the Grand Alliance to stop Louis XIV and support Archduke Charles. The War of the Spanish Succession began, raging across Europe. Early on, the French won victory after victory. By 1704, Vienna was threatened. If it fell, the alliance would collapse. The war was at a tipping point. France was close to total victory. The alliance was desperate, demoralized, and needed a miracle. All eyes turned to Marlborough, the one man bold enough to challenge France. He would have to attempt the impossible. The stage was set for a gamble that would change history. The fate of Europe hung in the balance. Marlborough knew only a bold move could save Vienna. He secretly marched his army over 250 miles across Germany, aiming to surprise the French and join forces with Prince Eugene of Savoy. The Dutch, his cautious allies, were kept in the dark. He told them he'd campaign elsewhere. By the time they realized, Marlborough was deep in Germany, moving with unprecedented speed and discipline. His men were well fed, well paid, and inspired by his leadership. Morale soared. They felt part of something historic. After 5 weeks, Marlborough reached the Danube and joined Eugene. The French were caught off guard, scrambling to respond. It was a strategic triumph before a shot was fired. But now, the real test awaited. The Franco-Bavarian army, entrenched behind the Nebel stream. Their position was strong, their numbers vast. Marlborough had found his enemy. Now he had to defeat them. The stage was set for one of history's greatest battles. The march was over. The fight for Europe was about to begin. The fate of nations would be decided on the banks of the Danube. Marlborough's gamble had brought him here. Now, everything depended on what happened next. The Battle of Blenheim was about to begin. August 13th, 1704, Marlborough and Prince Eugene survey the enemy. The French and Bavarians are anchored on villages, protected by the marshy Nebel stream. Confident, the French believe no one would dare attack across such ground, but Marlborough sees a flaw. Too many French troops are crammed into Blenheim village, unable to maneuver. His plan launched diversionary attacks on both flanks to pin French forces, while secretly massing his main force in the center. The real blow would come across the Nebel at the weakened French center. The plan is risky, requiring perfect timing. At 1 p.m. the British assault Blenheim. Fighting is fierce and costly. On the other flank, Eugene's troops struggle at Lutzingen. The French think they're holding firm, just as Marlborough intended. All eyes are on the flanks, but the real threat is gathering in the center. The French are distracted, unaware of the storm about to break. Marlborough's trap is set. The fate of the battle in Europe hangs on what happens next. The decisive moment is near. The center is about to explode. As chaos rages on the flanks, Marlborough executes his masterstroke. Under smoke and artillery, his engineers build makeshift crossings over the Nabil. Infantry and cavalry move across, despite French cavalry attacks. The British and Germans hold firm, repelling charge after charge. By mid-afternoon, a massive Allied force faces the weakened French centre. Tallard, the French commander, realizes too late. He's been outmaneuvered. He tries to reinforce, but his best troops are trapped in Blenheim. At 5 p.m., Marlborough orders the final charge. 10,000 Allied cavalry smash into the French. The French line wavers, then breaks. Panic spreads. The elite French cavalry flees. The centre collapses. The French army disintegrates. Tallard is captured. The battle is won, but the slaughter isn't over. Thousands of French soldiers remain trapped in Blenheim village. The French army is shattered. The final act of the battle is about to unfold. Blenheim village, once a fortress, is now a prison for over 10,000 French troops. Surrounded and exhausted, they face British revenge. Marlborough brings up cannons. The village is bombarded and set ablaze. Smoke and fire fill the streets. Panic erupts. Some French try to escape into the Danube. Hundreds drown. Inside, chaos reigns. Surrender seems unthinkable, but resistance is futile. The Marquis de Blanzac, their commander, faces a terrible choice. As evening falls, he surrenders. Unit by unit, the French lay down arms, humiliation on a massive scale. Regiments burn their flags to avoid capture. The battle is over. The field is devastation. Thousands lie dead or wounded. The sun sets on ruin. The most decisive day of the war has ended. Blenheim is a catastrophe for France. The cost is unimaginable. Europe will never be the same. The echoes of this day will last for centuries. Blenheim's numbers are staggering. 38,000 Franco-Bavarian losses, 12,000 Allied casualties. But behind the statistics are stories of courage and horror. A young English ensign dies protecting his regiment's flag. Captain Parker writes of wading through marshes under fire, friends falling all around. The battlefield is chaos, smoke, noise, confusion, and death at every turn. After the battle, fields are littered with corpses. Villagers bury the dead in mass graves. Wounded fill makeshift hospitals. Surgeons amputate limbs in desperate conditions. Infection claims many more lives. The human cost is immense. Families wait in vain for news. Even commanders feel the toll. Tallard, now a prisoner, dines with Marlborough, broken by defeat. Marlborough's victory dispatch is brief, hinting at exhaustion and the weight of what's happened. Blenheim's glory is shadowed by its tragedy. The price of victory is written in blood. News of Blenheim stuns Europe. French invincibility is shattered. Vienna is saved, Bavaria is knocked out of the war. The Grand Alliance is revived, and the war's outcome is changed. Blenheim marks Britain's rise as a major military power. Marlborough is hailed as a hero. Blenheim Palace is built in his honor. His tactics, coordination, deception, logistics become models for future generals. The battle is still studied in military academies today. Blenheim shows how courage and vision can change history. It proves no power is invincible, and alliances can defend freedom. Europe's fate was shaped on that August day. The echoes of Blenheim still resonate. The story of Blenheim is the story of Europe's survival. Its lessons endure centuries later.